Here we are yet again.
Again.
I wonder if they're sick of us yet.
Probably.
Anyways,
How many people do you think are listening to us?
at this exact moment,
Yeah.
13.
13. Man, that's estimating pretty high.
That's at this exact moment, all at the same time.
I feel like that's high.
You know what they're listening to?
What?
The Knock and Talk Show.
They are listening to the Knock and Talk Show.
You know who co-hosts that thing?
Me.
And
You.
here we are.
Who are we?
The Knock and Talk Show.
No, who are you?
Who are you?
No, you have to go first.
Oh. Well, I'm Marcus.
I'm Allison.
You run out of shit to say after a while.
Like
How do we?
You never tell me like how you're going to
No,
do
what
your
fun is that?
introduction?
Why not make it awkward and uncomfortable and confusing?
Yeah, so every time I never know how this is going to go. And
Me
so
either.
I feel very awkward every time.
Well, you'll give me the countdown to when we're going to start, and I'm just kind of like, nah.
So it's awkward because I'm hitting record in our audio recording, and then I have to hit record in the video recording, and without making it obvious because we don't have one of those fancy, maybe that's what we need to order, one of those like movie things, like
The little clicker and the timer. And
yeah. We'll get that next. And I have to give you like a little head nod, like, okay, start talking out.
Right. And every
And-
time I think you're just flirting with me.
Yeah, you don't pick up on the social cue of like,
No.
ready, set, go.
Uh,
So here we are. And yeah, I feel like today we discussed a little bit before coming into this episode, because the last episode, if we post them in the order that I think we're
or the
gonna
next
post 'em,
episode.
or the next episode,
The
whatever
last
ends
one
up
or
being,
the next one. Yeah. we don't know.
however ends up being. If I post them the way, I mean, our producer that we pay so much money to do all the fancy things that
The
happen,
famous one.
the famous one, if they post them in the way that I'm not talking about gender stuff, they, just the famous producer, me, post them in the way I think it's going to happen, this will be the following episode after that one. We literally didn't discuss what we were going to talk about.
No, we just came in here like 2 minutes ago and started.
No, for the last one, you told me, you said, I just want to sit and talk shit.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nice to just not have an agenda and just kind of see
Right.
where it goes.
And it was a little bit of a slow start.
It
A
was.
little bit of a slow burn.
Yeah.
You were kind of looking at me like, I don't know what the fuck to
I
say.
just don't say.
And I had so many things I wanted to say, and I was like, keep it cool. Like, keep it cool. You can't jump into like abortions and rape and
You just want to word vomit.
and, yeah, and
Look at this article from Texas about the abortion, and look at the transgender stuff, and look at
and vaccinations.
like an
and also,
auctioneer.
it was just like, take a deep breath, Allison. You can get to it, but you gotta warm people up. You gotta.
Well, you got to drag this out, right? If we just,
Well,
blow our load all at the beginning, then we have
okay,
nothing
can
down the
we
future.
Not say it like
It doesn't have to be a dirty reference. It's just,
It's
What are you gonna do
pretty
later?
dirty. Well, that's true. I feel like if I give out all my
secrets.
not secrets, fun topics and like ideas, even though I feel like I never run out of ideas
Things to say.
or things to say.
No.
But I do talk about a lot of the same things over and over again. But not always in the same way. I feel like I continue to learn something new about the topics that I'll be honest, I obsess over. And then I continue to add to them.
You're a bit of an obsessive person.
What's that word?
That was a tongue twister.
Obsessive?
You're a bit of an obsessive person. But that's not a bad thing.
You made
Passionate.
It sound like passionate. That sounds much better.
Yeah.
I just like to dig into things. And I feel as though, because I'm banned from like, and I've said like 20 times already, we really should turn our show into a drinking game for people. Because if they drank to each time the word like was said,
Well, maybe it already is, and we just don't know it.
it could be. But I feel like we'd be a lot more famous if that was the case, because people would enjoy getting schnockered. Hummered. But I think that during my master's program, I did enjoy everything about my master's program. Let's be honest. There was a lot of stressful moments about that time, and there wasn't always topics that I enjoyed about it, but I did enjoy the aspect of the papers and topics that I got to choose what I wanted to write
Yeah.
about and getting to really research them. I mean, my gosh, I'm trying to think one of the topics. My last one, for my final capstone project, when I did it on child maltreatment, do you remember the stacks and stacks and stacks of articles I had printed
Yes.
and read through and highlighted? And I swear I'm not an overachiever. I just like to try and ease my workload if I can. So before this class had started, I had already knew what the project was. So like I had read a lot of these articles prior to going into it. I don't think that's cheating. I was just preparing. Like
Right.
I just wanted to be aware of like the topic I was going into. And then the professor, I had pretty much done it wrong. So I read like 50 articles, and I'm not exaggerating. For nothing. And then I had to find like 30 more and reread those and use those. Yeah, it was terrible.
Just
but,
when you think you're getting ahead.
Yeah, but I feel like it helped me. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of things that I didn't need to learn. I read a lot of articles that I didn't even get to use in my paper. Specifically like the abuse that like occurs in like the Catholic Church and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's prevalent. It happens all.
Right,
I'm not trying to
right.
put shade on my faith and my church.
No,
and
that
stuff,
was a
but
huge topic for a long time.
it was a huge
I mean,
scandal.
that was, yeah.
But like also the abuse that happens within religions when it comes to like exorcisms and just things that you never really thought of that would be considered child abuse.
Mhm.
Like they, if I'm recalling correctly, if before they were more aware of some of the psychiatric issues that children suffer from, they would try different techniques that were tied to religion. Because religion, I feel like, especially years and years and years, I'm talking way before technology. I'm
Right.
talking years and years and years and years and years ago.
In years.
In years and years and years. I'm like very, very long time ago. I'm not even going to try and quote a year because I don't have any of my stuff in front of me. But they would try, things like starvation and, locking a child in a room to like get the demons out of them and, different stuff that they weren't intentionally like trying to harm children.
What were they trying to cure though?
Like
illness or mental illness or
they
combination
thought
thereof?
they had
Or
like demons in them because of
with mental illness?
but they didn't know about, like they didn't realize that it was mental illnesses. Like,
Right. I'm talking, obviously we
but
have that
they thought
knowledge
it was-
nowadays, but
They thought it was like demons and stuff inside them. There's a hair on this microphone and it's bugging
there
me.
was on mine too from our special guest of our
Yeah,
last
from
episode.
Toby. But yeah, so it was just like fascinating things, and I'm like, how do I fit this all into I think it was like a 30-page paper or
Mhm.
whatever it was, and then the granddaddy of all of the best topics that came with the child abuse and maltreatment. And again, people, I'm not like a crazy person. Like I don't find pleasure in like reading about this. I just find it interesting. Was the Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which
yeah.
I still today am like crazy about reading more articles and stuff.
You know what's weird is we've seen that, you more than I, but firsthand a few times now.
So let's be clear. It's my opinion that that's what I think those situations are.
Yeah, but the one was more or less confirmed by professionals, no?
People that I had talked to,
Or they at least shared the same opinion.
Yeah, they agreed that there were aspects of it that it could be Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So Munchausen syndrome would be, for those that are not aware, and I'm sure people who are listening have seen Munchausen and Munchausen syndrome by proxy because there's been a lot of movies about it. So like the Hulu show, The Act, that you and I watched, where it was, what's her name? I read a book that used a different name, but it was like Rose Gold was the girl in the book that I read.
Was it the same story though? Your
It
book
was the same.
and
They were parallel
okay.
stories, but the show was The Act, and then Darling Rose Gold or something was like the book I read. But the mother was pretty much making her daughter ill in order to keep the daughter close to her, to get the attention from like medical professionals and have people sympathize for the mother and feel bad for her. They ended up getting, and this is not a true story from my understand. I'm pretty sure it's a made up story, but these things happen.
Right.
I mean, these are true things, like true diagnoses.
There was like a spin on true stories that
I believe, or like, you know,
whatever,
like maybe a compilation of different things that have occurred. But, you know, the mother was making the daughter sick essentially. And then the daughter by the end of the movie figures out that
Mom's
her mom
crazy.
is, making her sick. So Munchausen would be me, making myself ill in order to obtain attention from people. So like if I like Ipecac syrup
Yeah.
it like make you vomit and sick, I could take that, like I could sneak into the bathroom, take that, and then I'd be like, Marcus, I'm vomiting, like I'm so ill, like I need you to take care of me, things like that, like inducing some sort of illness. But it's not like it's a one-time deal, you know, like
Right.
it's an ongoing thing.
Repetitive.
It's happened for a very, very long period of time. I'm assuming, and my assumption, I didn't look into Munchausen per se, because I looked into the by proxy, which is when
You do it to someone else.
correct, you're putting that Munchausen upon someone else. But my guess, the Munchausen would stem from child abuse of some sort, whether it be that sexual abuse, or maybe your parent was, you know, putting the it was Munchausen syndrome by proxy on you as a child, and then you grew up to pretty much learn the same thing, and now you know, impart that on your own child, and so on, because most of the time it happens with mothers and their children. But I find it fascinating, and this episode isn't about Munchausen syndrome, so don't get worried,
so
people.
what are we
I'm
gonna
not
talk
going
about?
crazy.
And it was like something will come up. Let's just go.
I know it always does, but I just think it's crazy, and you know, I feel like it what's the word I'm looking for? I can never think of words. I feel like COVID made my brain turn to mush.
Mushy.
I cannot think of the words. Like I can't put words together like I used to, and I'm not looking for an excuse, but I really do. I feel like COVID made me just like turn to stupid.
I've heard COVID brain's a real thing though.
I don't know. We'll go with it. I don't know, or maybe I'm just getting old and my brain's deteriorating.
Combination there.
It presents itself. Munchausen syndrome and Munchausen syndrome by proxy, I feel like it presents itself differently in each case. I feel like, for instance, ones that and I'm not talking about a specific child per se, I'm just talking about the ones that I have observed that, in my opinion, would be Munchausen syndrome by proxy. They were more, the parent was looking for, they were trying to pretend like their child had psychiatric needs.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted their child to go to the hospital with these psychiatric needs. And it's like you would talk to the child and the child would be
Was that related to the one that
one of them.
presented the other day?
One of them.
Okay.
One of them. But multiple, like different ones would, you know, a lot of them are similar like that, where they're suicidal, they have this, they're bipolar, they're schizophrenic, I'm trying to think of like all the different other things that they'll diagnose their children with. And it's like, what you don't understand is like, you know, for children, you know, you'll get these parents who will say like, oh, my child's diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder or whatever. And it's like, okay, pretty sure, I'm no doctor and I'm no psychiatrist, but children typically aren't diagnosed with disorders like that. Typically they're diagnosed with conduct disorder. So I don't know where you're getting this from. I think you're creating this in your head. I could be wrong, and maybe some doctor did, you know. So I'm not, again, these are my opinions and my observations I've seen, but I've talked to some of these children that we've dealt with. I've talked to teachers. I've talked to, I can't talk to their therapist because that's a HIPAA violation.
Right,
They can't
yeah.
release that, but I've reached out to doctors at the local hospitals just to be like, hey, this is what I'm observing. What do you think?
The one was very helpful. I do remember that
Very,
you spoke to. Yeah,
very.
very,
And
yeah.
they were trying very hard to see what we could do to maybe move this forward. Unfortunately, there's a term when it comes to child abuse that dirty but happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so long as a child is living in a home that is receiving love and they're not receiving, like they're not being harmed per se, like in an extreme way, and
Tortured.
they're getting food and water, and they have clothes on their back, not necessarily clean clothes or clean home, and the child is happy per se, that's better than some of the other circumstances that they can be in.
Well, we kind of touched on that before, is like sometimes it's not always a good resolution to take them out of that home, even though something's going on, and putting them into a system where they may go to a foster care or respite home or something like that. That's worse.
Right.
Because sometimes it can be worse. It's not always the answer. It's not always a good solution.
Right.
So I do agree with that. Sometimes it's, the dirty but happy. I mean, it makes sense in certain situations with certain circumstances. Not all the time. It shouldn't be the answer to everything.
Right.
But again, look at some of the short-term cares or emergency placement homes that we've been into, and those environments are horrible.
They're not good.
They're not good at all.
They're not.
So,
and it's hard because I think with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, one of the biggest things is that the mother, like I said, I'm not trying to pin this on mothers, and it's not a common thing. It's not like this is a very prevalent thing.
Right.
This is not common. But it is fascinating, like when you really deep dive into like what it entails. But that mother loves their child. It is not I hate my child, I'm abusing my child.
It's not done maliciously.
They love this child, they care for this child, and that mother truly believes their child is afflicted with whatever issues. And I think they impart all these different things on that child so often on a daily basis, like these whatever pills they're giving them, whatever treatment they're giving them.
Do you also think that it's done though too to keep that child close to that mother?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like, you can't survive without me.
Absolutely.
So you constantly, you will need me in your life forever. Absolutely.
But it's crazy. Like, how could you? I couldn't imagine being a mother and like wanting to make my child ill, but the research that I had read, man, your phone is blowing up. Did you sign up for Tinder again? Gosh, Marcus, I told you to stop doing that.
Don't worry about it. No, I was actually hoping it was
Grindr.
Jesus. Well,
this got awkward.
Yeah, it did, but it's not saying much about you either. So
what? What do you mean by that? I'm not on Grindr or Tinder.
No. Anyways, back to
Okay.
Munchausen.
So deep breath. This got weird. But so the research I had read was talking about how, the Munchausen syndrome by proxy will typically start when the child is in the hospital, like directly after the mother gives birth. So like the mom will like they're almost hypochondriacs?
Yeah.
Like they freak out over everything.
Right.
So like they'll panic, like the child's not breathing, and so like they call the doctor in, and like the child's breathing, child's fine. And then they're like, the child, it looks anemic. The child's not anemic, but like they're calling in the doctors to do this test and run this test and run this test. The child's fine. Then they're like, well, the child's doing this. Okay, the child's fine. But then,
well, is it more of a true belief, or do they know that they are making things up? Like, is it more the hypochondriac side?
Well, it's a mental illness, so I think they truly believe there is something wrong with their child. I think that they believe that they are doing the right thing, and it's one of those things that after you continue, regardless of who you are, after you continue to do something for an extended period of time, no matter what that is, like you're going to believe in that thing, or you're going to believe what you're doing is right, or whatever it is, like anything, you could justify anything that you're doing.
It's not a lie if you can convince yourself that it's
Yeah.
not a lie,
Yeah. So I really think they have good intentions, but the amount of damage and harm that they can inflict upon these children, I mean, can be irreversible. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's bizarre. I also think it's bizarre when you have just Munchausen, like when they are doing it to themselves, and it's attention-seeking behavior. And I don't mean that to sound cruel.
No, yeah.
But for whatever reason, they obviously didn't get the attention that they love and attention that they needed as a child. Because I do believe, and again, I'm no doctor, I'm no psychiatrist, I'm no therapist, I'm no anything, but I do like to read about those types of things. But you read a book once, yeah. I did read a book one time. I do feel like a lot of those things start in childhood, and when those needs aren't met in childhood, you're going to present whatever issues later in on. Your teenage years or your adulthood, and you're going to seek those needs that you didn't
just
get
like any mental health order. I don't think you just wake up one day, unless something has happened and you've developed a TBI or something crazy like that. I don't think you just wake up one day with this illness, right? I mean,
I think some are hereditary. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, like I said, doctor, but I think
something like that.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the munch, you don't just wake up one day and go, you know what? I think I want to start pretending like I'm sick. I could be wrong. I could be way off the chart, but
So I think it's a combination though. So like if you are more predispositioned to have like anxiety, okay, which, I mean, everyone has anxiety. Anxiety is a normal part of your daily life, okay? You experience anxiety. I experience anxiety. You don't take anxiety medication. I've taken anxiety medication because I experience anxiety on a higher, where it was disrupting my normal functioning.
Right.
Okay. So everyone experiences it. You should experience anxiety because it helps you make decisions. It helps you, live life. But it's when it starts disrupting your life, that's when you need care, therapy, medication, whatever. And I don't agree with just pushing pills on people. I think therapy and
there's
other forms to treat whatever are also options.
Right.
I think you need to look at what's best for you. But anyways, so I think you take someone who may be predisposed to having like something like anxiety, which maybe they never take care of having that anxiety, which would then make them more likely to develop something else, which if they don't take care of whatever that next thing that they develop because of it, it's going to keep cycling and making the next thing, whatever that, they continue to develop in their mental health illness, like whatever it ends up, forming into. But no, I don't think you're just born. I mean, I don't think anyone pops out of the womb and is like, you're born as a Munchausen, you have Munchausen syndrome. I think it's your environment that shapes that. But it's crazy because if you think about it, I think, especially a lot of the kids that we deal with, I think any cop could say this. A lot of them have attention-seeking behavior, and this has nothing to do with Munchausen. I don't think they have anything to do with Munchausen. This is a complete separate issue. But a lot of them have attention-seeking behavior because how many children have we had where they will say that they're suicidal or they're, name it, whatever the thing that they come up with, or they throw a temper tantrum, and we get there and they're fine.
Yeah.
And all they wanted to do was just talk to someone, and they wanted to just have someone there to hang out with. And it's like, okay, I'm glad that you want to talk to us. I'm glad that you feel safe having us talk to you. That's a great thing. Like, I'm glad you're not scared of us and you're not running the opposite way and that, whatever.
Here's a better way to do it, though.
Yeah, let's not go about this in the attention-seeking,
well, it's because it's not negative. Something that can be taken lightly. Not by the parent, not by us, not by doctors, not by, any of the above. So.
But it is crazy. But if you take those few extra minutes, talk to mom and dad or mom or whoever that caregiver is that's with them, maybe look around the home, look around the room, look around just in general, ask the kid questions. What are you involved with? Usually not much.
Mhm.
What are you, how do you have friends, or, whatever those things are. It's usually not a whole lot. And I'm not saying kids have to have a lot or kids need a lot of things. I don't think that's the case, but I think love and a home that cares about them and is there for them, and just having, and I don't think it always has to be a mom and a dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad. Like, I don't think it needs to be a 2-parent household in order to create a kid that feels loved.
Right.
I think they just need someone that loves them and cares about them. It could be grandma who raises them, for all I care, as long as they're loved, or an adoptive parent, or a step parent, whatever the case is. If kids are loved, I feel like that's going to make a whole, a much bigger impact on them in the future, and shape their behavior than, this attention-seeking behavior that we end up seeing, and then we end up seeing in adulthood. Look at some of the shit that we do. I mean, we get people that steal, that obviously have some mental health issues, but I truly think some of them steal just to get attention from us.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you have to think about it. We don't know those people from when they were kids.
Right.
But I wonder what they were like when they were a kid. I bet they didn't get a whole lot of love and attention.
But you know what's weird? There have been a few cases that we've watched grow up, quote unquote.
Yeah, and they weren't
you know
good.
what I mean? But it has started young, and then we watch them to adulthood.
Right.
And it's always the same things that we're encountering them.
Right.
So that's...
Yeah, it's never good.
That's kind of crazy, too.
It is. It's sad. Kids stuff is definitely really
sad. Oh, it's
sad.
horrible. Yeah.
But that was an interesting aspect of that part of my research and getting to write that paper and getting to kind of dig in. And I read so many different articles on Munchausen syndrome and the abuse within religion. And then I wrote in the paper 1 page on both, because I didn't have room to write much. And I was like, wow. I wanted to write the whole paper on that stuff, but I couldn't.
I have so much to say.
I did. That's why I wanted to tell her, I have so many things I want to say, lady. Don't you understand? I could write 50 pages on this shit, but you get points knocked off if you go too long. Can't do that.
Well,
but
that seems kind of odd, but
yeah. But this conversation took a weird turn. I wasn't really planning on talking about Munchausen syndrome.
Yet here we are.
Here we are. But yeah, I mean, do you have any questions about it? Because I like talking about it.
I know, but you know what?
I suggest people watch the show The Act, because that was a good show. Do you remember watching it?
I do. Is it still on there? Did we finish it? Yeah, we did finish it.
I don't think you finished it. I finished it.
I think we did.
And then I read that book. I think it's called Darling Rose Gold. I think it's over here. I don't see it. I have so many books. I can't find it. It's pink. It's somewhere.
There's something somewhere, yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think it's called Darling Rose Gold. I might have lent it to someone. But yeah, that and exorcisms. Please don't exercise with your child. Don't perform an exorcism. That
sure.
Thing. Don't get the demons out of your child, please. They don't have demons in
do
them.
you think that's ever a real thing, though? Or is it more of a belief?
Well, let me ask you first. Do you believe? And then I'll give you my opinion.
No.
You gotta elaborate. You can't just say that.
No, that's my answer. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think there is. I don't think there's such a thing.
So why do you think that people think that?
I think it's just a belief.
But why would they?
Well, in those circumstances, I feel like it's a religious belief.
Okay, but why do you think they would have developed that religious belief?
Lack of knowledge. They didn't read enough books.
Are you mocking me?
No, I'm being serious. I do. I think it's a lack of knowledge. What else do you have to base it on?
Okay, but here, and we obviously...
I feel like you set me up for this.
No, but you're in the process of becoming a Catholic. I'm Catholic, so I'm not questioning faith here.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be saying the same thing as well, who's God? We believe in a God, but who's, we believe in something. And
That's what I'm saying. It's just simply a belief. Yeah.
Right. So who's to say, I'm not comparing God to demons here, people. Okay. So don't come at me, but it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, we can believe in one thing and like, I believe in God,
Right.
but like, I here's my answer. I don't believe in demons.
Right. But that's what I'm asking. Like, does that still occur today? Is that still a belief system today?
I believe so.
Is
I
it?
believe you can still. Let me
It's
Google it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm genuinely asking because I don't know. I'm not trying to mock it. I just don't.
I think you can still have exorcisms performed. I mean, I've never
Never had one.
increasingly
We
frequent.
could just schedule if you want.
What are you trying to tell me right now?
Nothing. I'm just.
ABC News, exorcism increasingly frequent, including after U.S. protest. In popular culture, exorcism often serves as a plot device in chilling films about demonic possession. Let's see. This month, 2 Roman Catholic archbishops showed a different face of exorcism, performing the rite as well-attended outdoor ceremonies to drive out any evil spirits lingering after acrimonious protests. So not on a specific individual, but in that general area. The event's distinctive character gave a hint of how exorcism, with roots in ancient times, so like I said, many, many years and years and years and years ago, I didn't want to quote a date here,
Yeah.
Has evolved in some ways as it becomes more commonplace in many parts of the world. Interesting. In Portland, Oregon, Archbishop Alexander Sample led a procession of more than 200 people to a city park on October 17th, offered a prayer, then conducted a Latin exorcism rite intended to purge the community of evil. The event followed more than 4 months of racial justice protests in Portland, mostly peaceful but sometimes fueling the violence of riots. On the same day, 600 miles in the south, San Francisco Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone performed an exorcism ceremony outside a Catholic church in San Rafael, where protesters had earlier toppled a statue of Father Junipero Serra. We pray that God might purify this place of evil spirits, that he might purify the hearts of those who perpetrated this blasphemy. Oh, that's a good word. Cordileone said. Let's see. Interesting. I mean, so not being performed in the way that they were.
Well, like you said, it's not individuals that are.
Let's see. Yeah, like not in the way that they were when I was reading about it for like child abuse.
Or when you watched the movie.
Or when I watched the movie.
The Exorcist.
Yeah, God, I don't like those kind of movies. Do you like watching those?
No. I don't like horror movies. They're too
Witchcraft, accusations, and exorcism. A form of child abuse. Oh, this is a
considered
paper. Child abuse linked to accusation of witchcraft and spirit possession can have very serious cases on the physical health and well-being of children. School nurses can play an important role in identifying and supporting victims. Interesting. This is an article, British School of Nursing. So, I mean, I guess it still happens. I mean, I'd be curious, like, how prevalent they are.
Right.
I think they used to be a lot more prevalent. So, like, you know, if you, whatever, you know, I know specifically, like, in the Catholic faith, you know, they would perform the rite and come out and perform the exorcism. But back in the day, I don't think it's, I don't know what that background noise is.
Did you hear that? It's almost like your mic's rattling.
But I don't think that it's as common. Like, I'm sorry, but like back in the day, I think that they, like parents, if they were experiencing an issue with their child, we have a lot of resources nowadays. Like if children have issues,
right,
that I don't think the first thing you're thinking is that my child has demons in it, and you're reaching out to the priest for help for an exorcism. You know, like whereas back in the day, what options did you have? You would go to your doctor, who, I mean, what knowledge did they necessarily have in the psychiatric field? Probably not much, because that field has obviously grown, you know, over the years. But nowadays, I mean, we have so much more knowledge and awareness on different things and causes of behavior that, I mean, I wouldn't really find it necessary to have that, but I'm sure there are a lot of true believers out there that still believe in that and don't believe in medical, you know,
Yeah.
treatments and things like that, that it still exists.
People are into spiritual healing and, you know.
People are into weird, what's that fucking oil company that,
Essential oil?
yeah, like essential oils, like people like ingest that shit. Like you can,
I didn't think you were supposed to. Like, you're not supposed to, right?
oh, like the crazy ones do. It's bad for you. It's like real bad. You're not supposed to, but like some of the crazy ones do. Be like, it cures COVID.
I had an aunt that used to eat Vicks Vapor Rub.
Why did she? Do you want to talk about that?
If anybody's from my side is listening, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
Can we talk about this?
She was.
Are you allowed to say this?
She was. Oh,
is
yeah.
she ever gonna listen to this?
She is no longer with us, unfortunately.
Okay. May she rest in peace.
She was a little eccentric, her and her husband both, but they were like the cool partiers.
Okay.
For a long time.
Do you think it was the Vicks Vapor Rub?
No. So, you're supposed to like put it on your chest or whatever.
Well, yeah.
She was like, no, fuck it. We're going straight in and we're clearing this up. She would just take a spoon and eat it.
What?
It must have worked because she continued to do it.
Obviously it didn't help her case very much.
I mean, that's not
that can't be good for the insides.
I mean, you would think it would clean you out, right? I mean,
I feel like it might do worse things than clean you out.
Well,
it just does not sound healthy.
She was like, you know what?
It does not sound good.
I'm killing it from the inside out.
That's not going to kill it from the inside out.
Well, that was her
It's called a cough drop. That's what you can put inside your body.
It's the same thing, just in a different form, right?
No, it is not.
No, so we shouldn't do that. I wonder what the container says. Like, not
probably
for human consumption.
Do not consume. Do you remember those cherry? Well, they still make them. Do you know like the cherry cough drops?
Ludens.
Is it Ludens?
Ludens.
They were like candy.
I would eat those just for fun.
You'd be like, Mom, can you go give me some of those cough drops?
That's really all they were, was just candy.
They were.
I don't.
They didn't even help your sore throat.
No, not at all. But they were delicious.
Delicious. But they made your tongue super red, and you just be like, this is embarrassing.
Then they had the mixed berry one.
I just like the cherry ones.
Gotta get mixed berry.
I never liked those the Vicks cooling ones, like menthol. Like,
yeah.
Ooh, those were weird.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like Bahama Breeze, like Vicks. Oof. I'm like getting it's grossing me out thinking about it.
Yeah, I could really never. I never did cough drops.
I don't like cough drops. I don't like them.
We have some in there. I guess when you're desperate, you'll
like
do
them.
anything. But no, I definitely
don't use them. I don't like them at all.
Definitely not a fan.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I feel like this is
we went from Munchausen to eating Vicks Vapor Rub to what's next?
I'm not gonna get on my MLM high horse.
No, you have your own platform for that we'll discuss at a later time also.
Oh yeah. But I can't talk about it on here one day?
No.
Oh, okay, whatever. People, don't ingest essential oils though. That's all I'm saying.
Or Vicks Vapor Rub.
Or Vicks Vapor Rub. That's your PSA for this episode.
Now I'm curious. I would like to get a container and see what
Let's
it says.
see. I'm not even going to Google it because how am I going to find it? You can't consume that shit. Like, you can't. Do you have any other weird stories like family that used to like consume stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Do you have any other like weird family stories in general? Like, we're talking about weird stuff today. So
Yeah,
like,
I know. Nothing really comes to the top of my head, like off the rip, but
anything like from your childhood that just like makes you laugh whenever you think about it?
no. You know what's weird? I had a small family. Like you and I have talked about that before. Your family is ginormous.
Yeah.
And that was never me. Like, that was never my family. It's always been fairly small, relatively speaking, right? I mean,
it's not like you have an itty bitty little family. Like, you have a good size,
I mean, it's. I guess I compare it to yours,
right?
And seeing other families like where it's just line after line of people, but
right.
that wasn't us, and it's just kind of weird. I mean, it's.
But it's funny because I grew up with such a big family.
Yeah.
That I kind of, I don't want to say I took it for granted, but I just knew.
Well, it was just normal. Yeah,
nothing
absolutely.
Different. And so once I started dating and things like that, and then people didn't have big families like that, and they'd be like, oh, it's just like, me, my mom, dad, and brother or whatever. And like, it was just 4 people, and that's it for their family.
Right.
I'm like, what? That's
I mean, I wasn't that small. Like I had a
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking
no,
about in general.
I had a few aunts and uncles, and
You still have them. They're still around. Let's be clear.
right. I'm just saying, I was lucky enough to have great grandparents for a little bit of time, and obviously grandparents. But other than that, a few cousins, but nothing crazy.
I forget like what the count of my cousins are, because I lose track. I'm not even gonna try and count right now.
That will be here for a while.
Well, 1, 2, 6.
That was a big jump.
10.
Wow.
13. 16. 18. I feel like I missed a family. Aunt Carolyn's kid has 2. Uncle Mike has 4. I don't think I'm supposed to be name dropping here. So 4. Then 4 for the next one. So what is 8, 10? So we're at 10. Then 3, 13. Next one's 3, 16. Yeah, so 18. But then we have all the second cousins.
Right.
Which I think there's 18. No, maybe a little bit less. But if you take, my mom has, including my mom, there's 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you take them plus their spouses, and then you take all their kids plus then all their spouses.
Right.
And then you take their kids, and now, well, none of their kids are old enough to be dating, so we haven't gotten that far yet. But like my cousins some of them are married and, dating. I mean, that's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Like when my brother, Kevin, they saw Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
When Kevin got married, when we're in the hall, when you're looking at the room, it was majority of my family.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many people do you think were at their wedding? Just guesstimate. I don't.
Well, they had
200?
a cut because of COVID.
Right.
I think their total was 150.
150.
And I could be wrong. I think they had a drop.
And 98 of those people were your family.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, listen, I am lucky and I love it. Like
it's awesome. And I've said before, like, for as big as your family is,
like I grew up with friends.
It's a
like
very
they built
close
in
family,
friends, And my cousin Megan, I know, listens to this, so I'm giving her a shout out so she can be like, oh, she's talking about me. I grew up, like, she was always my best. I idolized her when I was growing up. I wanted to be Megan. Corinne, she's the same age as me, so it was also built-in best friend growing up.
Right. That is what's nice, and especially when everybody's close like that, you are your best friends. I mean, that's awesome.
But the cool thing too, I think, about family, and when I compare it to friends that you make in school and stuff, is that with friends in school, and this is nothing against like the friends I had at school. Like there's girls that I went to grade school with that if I talk to them today, I'm sure we could pick up right where we left off and have great conversations.
Yeah, but you can get rid of them. You can't get rid of family.
You can't get rid of family, right? But I feel like with my family, I never would have that fear. Like I would be nervous to maybe talk to some of the people I haven't talked to in years from school.
Well, yeah.
Whereas like my family, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like
you kind of never miss a beat.
You know, like you know me. You've known me my whole entire life. So we can always just pick up right where we left off. Yeah. We're always gonna have fun. I mean, I don't ever remember like having fights with like people in my family. Like there was never I'm sure there was like petty, like stupid little shit, but I don't ever remember having like blowout fights with my family. It's always been fun, and our Christmas parties were always like epic. And not that they were planned to be crazy. It was just like having a dinner, usually at my parents' house, or I think it was usually at my parents' house growing up. But the house was stuffed. We were like sardines in the house, Yeah.
And it's not a small house. I mean, it's,
it's a good sized house.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were sardines in there. And it was always hot. It's December in Ohio.
And it's 104 degrees
in the house.
degrees.
And we got the windows and doors open because everyone's sweating.
The oven's
like, there's so
roasting. And
And there's food everywhere because everyone's bringing food.
Oh, the food is just...
It's always good. Everyone's a good cook in my family.
Yeah.
All of them.
That is very true. That is... You're never going to leave hungry.
Aunt Deb is the best.
I can't believe you just said that. You're gonna catch so much backlash for that.
Aunt Deb's such a good cook. She is.
She's very good.
Aunt Sue, you're a good cook too. All of you are.
Do you
good
remember
cooks.
the first time I had Aunt Deb's cutouts, her sugar cookies?
Oh, you're obsessed with
My
those.
God.
They're like butter. But you know,
And
it's a
how
funny
sweet
part.
is it that I've always gotten my own little container?
She does make you your own container of
She
cookies, and it has your name on
Keep
it.
it going. Don't stop now, because somebody's addicted.
But I got the recipe from her, and you know, I just said like they're like butter. Like, when you eat them, they melt on your tongue. That's because 3/4 of the
They're
recipe is
butter.
butter. It is butter. It calls for butter and sugar
And a small scoop of butter.
and a little bit more butter. I'm like,
But they are good, though.
they're delicious. You know, there is no cutting corners on those cookies, and they are delicious. And everyone in my family knows those cookies. They're amazing, and her nut horns are really good too.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yes.
I like to pick the frosting off of them.
Grandma almost fought me one year. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she was like,
It might have been last
she
year.
looked at you like,
Those
how
are my, and she was
dare
just
you.
she was just poking fun, but because we were fighting over them.
She-
I'd go to grab one and she'd smack my hand, and
she's like, don't you dare eat my nut
those are
horns."
mine.
It's like there's a whole thing of them out there.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Nope.
No.
Nope, those are mine.
But yeah,
That's awesome.
they're all good cooks. But it's funny too, because I think they all, when I think about my aunts, they all have like this dish that they're all known for.
Yeah, it's like they're staple. They're good.
Yes.
That's what you bring. That's
Like,
what you. Yeah.
Aunt Sue is, I'm throwing out names. Go ahead and find
Whatever,
my family.
yeah.
You're not going to find them. Chicken noodle soup. Like I always remember
Really?
her making chicken noodle soup. And she'd make homemade noodles and stuff. And I always remember her chicken noodle soup is so good. And I don't know what she does to it. I think it's grandma's recipe. Maybe not.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's her own. I don't know.
Gosh,
whatever-
homemade noodles and that's dedication.
I don't know if she makes homemade noodles every time or
Right.
whatever it is, but I just remember her chicken noodle soup is always so freaking good.
So if you're listening, we'll take an order of that.
Yes. It can be frozen too.
It
so we
can be. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, when we go for Thanksgiving over to Aunt Barb, like, she usually makes a lot of the staple stuff for Thanksgiving. So I just like picture her staple stuff for like the sweet potato casserole, the party potatoes.
Where did
Like,
the stuffing balls come from?
so you've never heard of stuffing balls?
No, you've
you-
seen like my family's stuffing.
Okay.
But where did is that a common traditional thing?
I don't know. I don't know if like grandmas grew up with this. Like, I don't know. All right. So whoever's listening, I would appreciate if someone would reach out to us and tell us how your family makes stuffing, because this is the great debate. I don't like bread stuffing. I think it is disgusting. I think it is mush, and I think it's like a brick.
See, that's
It's so
But what's funny is I grew up on that.
I hate it.
So I like eating
hate it.
your family's version. It's delicious. Don't get me wrong.
You cannot like it. It's fine.
No, I love it. We do work on that shit every year.
We're like, can we take some stuffing
We bring
balls
the
to
stuffing balls home in a tub of gravy, and we just
chunk the stuffing balls in gravy? And
go
eat
ham.
it.
We just fuck it
We
up.
don't even have the leftovers for like the next day. We just eat it that night.
Yes. But it's just funny how things change. You know what I mean? Like family to family, you're gonna have those staples, but everything's done just a little differently.
So stuffing balls, if anyone listening has never had them, you just take the stuffing, and this is pretty
It doesn't get very
crazy.
technical. Yeah.
Crazy. You roll it into a ball, and then you put it in the pan, and then when you bake it, it gets a nice crust around it. So when you break it open, it has that crust, and then it's nice and soft on the
in
inside.
middle, yeah.
But I don't like bird stuffing. The stuff like shoved up in the bird. I don't
No?
like bird stuffing. It's mushy. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it usually is mushy. That's because you get all the juices from the bird.
I don't mind pan stuffing. Like my family will make like a pan of stuffing.
Mhm.
That's fine. but stuffing balls are the shit. And I have to say,
so
my
good.
mom is so good at like eyeballing. Like she is the queen of eyeballing shit. Okay. So like when she, for example, when she makes like burger patties, all right. Like when she used to have to like measure stuff for me when I was in treatment or whatever, like, so if you measure a 4-ounce raw ball of meat, that would be 3 ounces cooked. So I would eat 3 ounces of a cooked meat. Okay. So when she would make us burgers, when I was in treatment, it couldn't be 3.1. It couldn't be 2.9. It needed to be 3.0 ounces. Okay. There was no fucking around. It had to be 3.0 ounces. So I stood over her like a hawk. This woman would form these balls of hamburger meat, and I'm telling you, every time on the nose, spot on. And so same thing when she's making these stuffing balls. They're like perfect, even stuffing balls, and this like they're identical, all of them. And I'm like, how the hell do you do this shit? Like they're perfect. And then like she never has
got mom superpowers.
I don't know what she does, but they're amazing. So if you're making bread stuffing, stop what you're doing for this Thanksgiving and do yourself a favor and buy some stovetop, and you don't make it the stovetop way.
Ew, is that what it is? Is it stovetop?
You're only using the croutons from it.
Just go get croutons.
Well, I think they just use it because the croutons are small.
Cheating. I didn't realize they have been cheating this whole time. That is so... you cannot use stovetop. Why are you glaring at me?
Because you're not following the stovetop directions. Because you have to like brown.
No, I want real
You have
croutons.
to like brown some sort of like sausage first. I think I made it one time. I don't remember. Brown like some sort of sausage, and then you have to do the trio, whatever, like celery, onion, carrot, and then in butter, and then you incorporate the stuffing. And then, but it has to be croutons. Like it has to be dried, or else then it's mushy.
Get dried croutons.
Okay, well maybe the stovetop's cheaper, whatever. I don't know. This is how Grandma always made it. Do not judge.
Cheated this whole time, and I didn't even know.
It's not cheating. It's good shit. Do not judge. You know what? It's way better than that bread stuffing shit. Deprived. It's anemic looking.
That shit is delicious.
It's anemic. It looks like a bread. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the I looked at you and I'm like, what the fuck
You can
is
get
that?
up in the morning and eat that.
It's disgusting.
You can get up in the middle of the night and eat it.
It's disgusting.
It's delicious.
I can't even eat it. I don't even think I tried it. It might taste good. I just can't.
Be my go-to. It tastes the same thing.
I can't eat it.
It's the same thing.
I can't.
It
I
is
cannot
the
do
same
it.
thing.
So anyways, I don't know. Now we're talking about Thanksgiving and stuffing. I'm hungry now.
Let's go make some stuffing.
No, we're having steak for dinner.
Steak and
We're having
stuffing.
Meat.
Meat.
We're having meat.
Meat and taters.
We're not having 3.0 ounces of meat. We're having some meat tonight. But do you remember what the real topic that we were going to talk about? I feel like we should briefly discuss this because I wanted to talk about it.
What?
That video.
Oh. So we stumbled across this.
Thank you for entertaining me and my weirdness for a little while.
We stumbled across this. I don't know when it took place.
You stumbled across it.
Looks like the beginning of September. So, well, that's when the video was released. It could be
You take over the show. I'm just going to get drunk. It's
sometime
fine.
behind that. If you have not seen this,
It's crazy.
check it out because it's a little crazy.
Well, can you tell them what it is? Because they can't see the screen, even if they're watching YouTube, because it's
I
blurred.
was getting there. I'm just thinking about stuffing. So this
And
is
Aunt Deb's
out
sugar
of
cookies.
this is out of Florida. Brevard County Sheriff's Office down in Florida. I was told by a wise man once, if you want to run into some serious bullshit in your life, there's two places you go. Any Walmart, United States of America, or
America,
or the state of Florida, and something's going to happen.
Who told you this?
My father, who is full of wisdom.
He is a wise man. I love that
He's
man.
on his shit. So, I don't know all the details, but the big thing is just the video and then the press conference from this sheriff afterwards.
He is amazing.
You want to talk about a cop's cop.
He's amazing.
This dude was all about his people. He is all about common sense. There's no bullshit with this guy. You can tell right off the rip. And he has about 94 service stripes on his arm. And he doesn't look that old.
No.
So he must have been doing this since he was apparently 12. I don't I don't know. I mean, so again,
you know what's
go
sad
ahead.
is I'm
You got
looking on
something
the
to say?
YouTube. No, I'm just looking on the screen that you're sharing that no one else can see. Is that there's looks like about 5,000 likes on the video, but there are 68 people who disliked this video.
Well, you're always gonna have that.
Fuck you.
You're always
That's
gonna
what I
have
have
that.
to say. Fuck you.
But this is insane. So it's an officer involved shooting. Looks like they stopped this car. There's 3 occupants in it. There's only 2 deputies. They have 2 of the occupants outside of the car. They're having a conversation with them. There is still a male, I believe they said 4-month-old child,
There's an infant.
and a dog in the back seat. The cover officer goes up, starts to have conversation with the passenger in the back seat. And at some point in time goes, "Hey man, he wants to talk to you. Step out." And when this guy gets out of the back seat of that car, shit hits the fan.
Literally.
Immediately.
Yeah.
He gets out with I believe it was an AR style rifle, 223, 5.56, whatever it was, with just the cheek welding stock on it. Opens fire immediately as soon as he steps out. I'm not gonna walk you through this video completely. If you want to see it, you can find it. It's out there.
Well,
I
I'll see if
encourage you
can
to look at it.
Like I'll
We
share
might be
it.
able to tag it, but there was a couple of big points that we kind of wanted to just play and let you listen to.
Yeah. With our fancy setup.
The first aspect that's hopefully going to get, if I went back far enough, the mag dumping of the officer that's on scene.
We're not judging here.
Not
like we're not
at all. Again, we
They
are
did
not experts.
Fantastic. And both officers survived.
They did survive. The 2 occupants that were already outside of the vehicle when shots started being fired, they took off on foot and later returned.
Good on
They
them.
came right back to the scene and were like, "Hey, sorry to run, but we did not want to be here when this shit
Right.
popped off. We have nothing to hide."
Good on them.
You know, just insane. But the support that these officers got, these deputies got
Will you give me that USB?
No,
Why
I'm
are
not gonna
you
do that.
Fidgeting.
the support that these guys got from the sheriff after being involved in this it's awesome. Because again, he's kind of like the no bullshit guy on it. So we're just gonna play a little clip of it. And again, I encourage you to go find it and watch the whole thing.
It's 9 minutes
Because
total.
it's dope. Yeah. And it includes the dash cam video, but a lot of that 9 minutes is a press conference from
Yeah, which
the sheriff.
press
So-
conference is definitely
Oh,
worth
it's legit.
it.
Yeah, 100%. So let's check this out real quick. So those shots you just heard was the deputy mag dumping the suspect who was on top of the other deputy, beating the shit out of him with his gun that jammed. He didn't know how to operate it, obviously. He has a malfunction. It jams. He at some point in time comes around the back side of that cruiser after he's already tried to ambush them. His gun is no longer working, so he just takes his gun and starts beating the shit out of the deputy with it. Hitting him in the face. Again, they both survived. The younger deputy was able to retrieve cover, gain a little bit of an advantage, see what's going on. He comes around the corner as that guy's on top of the other deputy, beating him with the rifle, and mag dumps him. Killed him on the spot. Good for him. That's exactly how it should have gone. But let's listen to what the sheriff has to say, because this is awesome.
Turn that up just a little bit because I think it's not coming through as loud. Higher.
Now, as you can see and hear from the video, this was an extremely violent ambush that both of our deputies and the occupants of the vehicle were extremely blessed to survive. This individual had absolutely no regard for human life and was focused on only one thing: killing our deputies to avoid arrest, as he knew he was facing several minimum mandatory prison sentences in his pending cases. As you can see, the subject not only fired numerous rounds at our deputies, but also, after his gun jam, used the butt of the rifle to violently and repeatedly strike Deputy Potters in the head, causing significant injuries and lacerations. Let there be no doubt. This individual got exactly what he deserved. And to those out there who might be foolish enough to ask why we shot him so many times, that answer is simple. Because evil can never be dead enough. Now that
That is the
That's a good
greatest
quote.
quote of the fucking century
I
right
put
there.
that in my phone. Evil can never be dead enough.
If you're going to fuck with us
Yep.
and you're going to try and kill us,
So what's shooting? Because I'm not trying to like change the subject from this, but it was in Ohio, maybe Cleveland. I think it was like ended up being a chase. Lots of officers
boy.
involved. There was lots of shots,
Yeah.
and I want to say I remember the chief backing the officers and saying, like the press came after him saying like so many shots were fired, and the chief or whoever had said that wasn't, they should have fired this many or something along those lines. And it to me, I feel like non-law enforcement, when they look at a situation, they're like, well, they always say the stupid thing like, why couldn't you just shot him in the knee or shot him in the
Why'd
foot
you have
or
to shoot him
something
so many
fucking
times?
stupid like that? And it's like, do you not understand? Like, you're trying to stop the threat, and he is a threat, and clearly this man had intentions on killing these officers. Like, he is a deadly threat,
oh yeah.
and he is trying to take their lives. So
Well, that being said, there's another video to kind of go along with that. It's out of Florida somewhere too, and I don't remember exactly where it was. You can find it too.
we need to go with Florida. There's a lot of bloodhounds down
A
there.
deputy gets out of the car, confronts a suspect who has a big ass stick in his hand. He's having some type of mental crisis.
Right.
He's out trying to give him verbal commands. The guy's just, I mean, he is upset, right?
Right.
Starts to come towards the deputy. They are, from me to you, away. I mean, they're a couple feet away. He swings a stick, hits a deputy. The deputy starts pumping rounds into his chest.
And it didn't stop him.
And it didn't stop him. He
Right.
still got hit. He got hit a couple more times before that guy dropped. So
Right.
you want to question why people get shot so many times, or why the taser was deployed so many times,
Right.
or why. That's why.
Because it doesn't always drop.
It's not always
people.
effective. Nothing we have or nothing that we do is 100% effective. It's a
Right.
very good thing to keep
And you're
in mind.
shooting center mass. You're not shooting for a fucking kneecap. You're
Yeah.
not shooting for a foot. You're not shooting
And-
for
and
whatever.
if my bad. They're not guaranteed. I mean, you can
No.
you could mag dump somebody and nothing could happen, or it
Right.
could stop them on the first shot. You don't
Right.
know, but
But good on the sheriff for
100%.
having his guys back.
Yes, and if you're going to question what we did or
Yeah.
why we did it,
Right.
here's the fucking brutal truth that you probably don't want to hear and people can't stomach.
That was really awesome, though. I remember when I was watching it, because you had me watch it when we were driving into work
Yeah.
one day,
Yep.
and I didn't know what to expect for the video. I was anticipating that these officers had passed away because I didn't hear anything about it. So
Yeah.
that's what my
Well,
expectation
I'll tell you what,
of
they're
it was.
damn lucky they didn't. I mean, they
absolutely.
watch the video and you'll see what I'm saying, because I mean, it's insane, and it's pure chaos.
It
And
is
and they
chaos.
lose sight of him. They don't know where he's at. They're returning fire to a place this guy isn't even at anymore.
Right.
He's now standing behind them.
Yeah.
And that's when he takes, that,
Again,
that
no
gun.
judgment on
no,
the officers.
not
It
at
was just
all.
a chaotic
not
situation.
at all. We are not experts, and we are not here to Monday morning quarterback. But I
good on
encourage
this
you,
guy.
if you're in law enforcement and you listen to this, I encourage you to watch videos to train.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
It gets you thinking.
it at least gets your wheels turning and your gears going, and hopefully, I hope, God forbid, if I'm ever involved in a situation like that, I hope that I have a fraction of the reaction and the wherewithal that they did to do what they did. So
Absolutely.
that none of this is to knock or criticize anything they did, but that shit, look at the service stripes on his arm.
I know, right?
They're like wrist to neck. I mean,
Yeah.
he is.
I just loved his speech like
Yeah.
that. And when I listened, and I obviously didn't expect
Go ahead and question
this
us. Yeah.
at the end. And when I listened, I remember going like, fuck yeah, at the end. I was like, that's
Yes.
amazing. That was an awesome speech. And to be those two officers, obviously they're suffering from, whatever injuries that they
Well, the only guy the guy that ended up returning fire and killing that suspect was fine. The
one
guy that got hit
he had some
with the
injuries.
rifle, he actually took a round of the lower leg and then had a bunch of face issues broken. What is this? Your orbital?
Yeah, something like that.
That was all broken shit because that piece of shit sat over top of him and just beat him with the gun.
But like
so
how,
he did. He got, and that guy said, and I agree with him. You got everything you deserved.
absolutely
100%.
But how good is it to feel as you're sitting there recovering? You know, obviously you're criticizing yourself on what I could have done, what I
100%.
should have done, whatever. But to know that my sheriff,
My boss, yes.
has my back,
Yep.
100% on everything that I did in my actions, and defends
Yep.
me to this day. And I know once I heal up and I go back to work, I have my fucking job, and I, you know, that to me that's an awesome thing.
Yep.
It's a really good thing.
So just crazy. Like I said, if you, it's on. We pulled this from YouTube, but it is everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there.
Yeah,
But get it and check it out because it's crazy.
it is,
And it
crazy.
really makes you think. I mean, how many times have we done that? No, I just, come on, get out of the car. You know what I mean? That monotonous.
Well, so that was the thing, is like when that guy's the cover officer, when he's up at the car just talking to guy like, oh, you have
Right.
a baby back there, and he's just
Yeah.
like, he's having casual conversation with those people. I think to myself, like, how many times do I go up to cars when you're on a traffic stop, or and whoever else on our shift, like if I'm
Right.
backing them up and we're doing whatever with that person, and I go up and talk to the other people in the vehicle, or just the driver in general, talk to them and just have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you're trying to see into that car, you're trying to see what's
Right.
going on.
Right.
You do your best, to try and keep your eyes on everything that you possibly
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
If there's multiple occupants, you do have the option of getting people out of the car. Sometimes you're looking at it like, is it better to get people out of the car?
There's
at
no
that
good
point?
way to do
Or
it.
is
Let's start there. It doesn't.
Is it better to keep them in the car? Is it better to get them out of the
yeah.
car? Like you have your options, but you have to pick and choose what you're going
Right.
to do. But how many times do we stand there and we talk, we're laughing, we're joking, because you're trying to keep the peace, you're trying to
we're just-
de-escalate situations.
There's nothing personal. So why not have a conversation
Well, right, but
and laugh
especially
and joke?
but
And,
especially in the time that we're in,
100%.
I'm gonna put a little bit more effort into just my own. If I'm not gonna
Having
have
being a
chip
human being.
I'm not gonna have a chip on my shoulder. Even if I'm
Yes.
having a bad day, I'm gonna go up there and make sure that I can be a personable person.
Yeah, you just
and
take
just
it out
have
on
a
me when we get
conversation.
home. Absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly how it goes.
No, but another thing I want to touch on is so they already have the knowledge that that infant's in that back seat.
Right.
How do you react? And I'm not asking
We talked
you
about
direct,
that.
and we have talked about this. That is a whole nother element that
So I feel like in that oh shit moment, because that is an oh shit moment. That is an oh shit moment when that happens. I want to think, I would love to believe that you remember that there's that infant in the back seat, but I feel like
you still
it goes to the back of your mind.
you still have to.
You're still reacting to
something,
that
yeah.
situation, and it's not like you're in
And luckily, he bailed out of the car and
right.
separated from the
Right.
car.
But I don't think that this sounds really hard. I don't think that infant in the vehicle is necessarily at the forefront of your mind in that exact that moment of instantaneous when that guy comes out of the car.
It's hard to
and is
remember
pointing
when you're getting shot
gun
at
pointed-
and you've been shot.
correct. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that you
No,
don't
absolutely.
take those things into consideration, but I can
Oh, yeah.
only imagine in that moment when you are having that tunnel
split
vision,
second.
and you have that split second decision that you have to make. How are you to remember all these other factors that
Mm-hmm.
are also included in the situation? There's a lot to think about, and
Yeah.
yes, that's our job. We signed up for this. We
100%.
decided to to take on like whatever we have to think about. Sure, but I don't think people understand what tunnel vision is, and
No, until
though
you've been there.
we've
Yeah.
never been involved in an officer-involved shooting. Yeah, thank God, and I hope we can go our entire career and never
Mhm.
be involved in it.
Absolutely.
No officer wants to be
No.
involved in it.
No.
But we've had tunnel vision and other calls that we've talked about that have been way lesser of
yeah.
like a fraction of the stress that would entail this call. So I could only imagine the amount of tunnel vision that they would have, not intentionally, but you have to focus your mind on the threat, like what the
Yes.
immediate threat, because what good are you to anyone else to protect them if you're dead?
Yes.
You're no good.
No, yeah.
You're no good. Just like we talked about responding to calls and emergency responses. What good are you if you die responding to that call? You are no fucking good.
Another thing that I've heard from a man of wisdom.
I wonder who that is.
And it sounds kind of goofy, but it makes sense. You have to drive to arrive, right? You got to slow yourself down because you're not doing yourself or anybody else any good if you wreck trying to get to that call you're going to. And that's where that tunnel vision comes into play, because it is so easy once you flip your lights and sirens on to get lost. And the next thing you know, you're boogieing and you don't see this car pulling out or that pedestrian coming out, or, you know, you don't realize how fast you're going when you try and take a turn. And it's easy to do. It is very easy to do. But yeah, I don't know. This video, when I'm watching this video, I'm getting all pumped up.
I was getting amped and I'm watching it. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is crazy.
So when he comes around that corner and he just starts putting rounds in that dude, good for him. Good for him. Because if he wouldn't have done that other deputy was going to die.
Yeah.
And he probably would have turned around and killed him too. Yeah.
So in Florida, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the sheriff's office, aren't they pretty much like the head honcho down in Florida?
I think it depends on where you are, but, you know, because there's still like municipalities and all that stuff that have agencies, but
they're more prevalent because, like, for us
they are.
In Ohio, I feel like our sheriff's department, they obviously play a very important role.
Well, for our county, especially.
They're more for the jail.
They are.
For a lot of counties, they're more for the jail, I feel like.
No.
No?
It depends on the county. Because there are other counties here in our state that have COs, just corrections officers with a few deputies sprinkled in.
Which I know. Yeah,
right.
Because I experienced that.
This isn't for you. This is for every. Our county, no COs at all.
Right. They're all commissioned.
All deputies. So
which other counties have the same thing? Like in Ohio, all the same. Like there's other ones that have the same thing.
It just depends on the county. But I feel like there's other counties here in Ohio that
rely more heavily on them.
Yeah, they're deputies and they're doing more things and they're more on patrol and they're, you know, I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, down south, because when we were on vacation, where we
feel like
stayed,
we saw a lot of sheriff.
That's how it was when we were on vacation.
Do you tell the story about when we went to go get Chinese that night? Now that we're on the sheriff or the Florida sheriff story. So let me preface this with. So Marcus yells at me, and we go back and forth about this all the time. As a female, and whatever male listeners, all 50% of you, because we know the stats. I know the analytics, you people. I mean, our fancy producer that we pay knows the analytics.
Yes.
We go back and forth on this. I don't always necessarily carry. Because sometimes when I'm wearing a dress or I'm wearing clothes that are not conducive to carrying a gun, it just doesn't work, okay? So if we're going out and sometimes it just doesn't work, okay? Okay.
I have so many things I can introduce you to. And that doesn't matter. That's not why we're here. We're not going to get into it.
We fight about this all the time. Listen, if you ever want a holster, email me and I will get you a holster, okay? Because I'm trying to get rid of some holsters here. We have so many holsters in this household. So many holsters.
I've gone through them.
And we have more. They just come from everywhere. I feel like they just like procreate in the boxes that they're in. We have a holster for everything.
Do certain shoes go with certain outfits that you have? Do certain purses? Shall I open up the closet behind me?
Go ahead. Do not. It's messy. There's
purses.
5 purses in there.
If you have to accessorize, I have to accessorize.
Okay. That is not even a comparison.
That is so a comparison.
Because you have just as many shoes as I do. Mr. Stitch Fix.
Okay. Well, okay, whatever.
So we're not even gonna argue. Anyways, but I do carry. Like, it's not that I don't carry.
No, you do.
I do carry. It's just not always conducive. So anyways,
right.
I did carry.
So I carry too.
You do carry too when I don't carry. So I always know where they're at. So we're good. Be like, what's that movie? Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, I know where they're at. Like, I'll just grab one of them. You can have the other one.
That's what we need. We need to change careers and be those guys.
We do. But anyway, so we're down in Florida. I had my gun with me. Like, we drove down to Florida. We didn't have to.
Because again, where are the two places you go if you want to get involved in some shit?
Florida.
In any Walmart in the United States of America.
Well, what did you say?
America.
America. I had my gun on me, so like, we were good. We're good. We drove. We didn't have to check in a plane. So anyways, we decided that we were going to get Chinese that night.
What a brilliant idea.
Because we wanted cheap, easy food.
And we're in a nice place.
Very nice place of Florida.
Yes.
A very
Gulf
nice
side.
place.
I mean, it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So there you go. There's your lead into the story. Take it from there.
So you never leave without checking to make sure you got everything.
Right. Gun included.
So we pull out of a spot. I get out of the way, right? I pull off to a little side portion of the parking lot. We're in Florida. The windows are down. The air's still going.
You meant to check to make sure everything's
we have
included
our
for
food.
food. Oh, and that's also to grab an egg roll, because you always have to grab an egg roll.
Well, you got to taste it.
for the
Yeah, you
drive
need
home.
one. Yeah, you need one for the ride.
Duh.
A male, not the most upstanding looking person
He was a
ever.
scraggly looking white male.
He was a shithead.
He was a shithead. Yes.
Is walking through the parking lot, watching us.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of move. I kind of try to keep moving. There's also a lot of old people in Florida, right? There's grand marquees and handicap placards
Everywhere.
everywhere. So I kind of put us in a bad spot, not knowing that there was no way to exit that parking lot from where we were at, right? Whatever. Anyways, this male he's paralleling us through the parking lot.
On foot.
On foot. Yeah, he's on foot. We're in the car. She's digging through the Chinese, make sure we got everything we ordered.
Get the egg roll.
Trying to get the egg roll for the ride home. He gains ground on us, approaches us, and I don't remember his exact words, but something like, that's a nice vehicle, or a nice Jeep. We were in a rental. It's a nice
shit.
Jeep. I'll have to take it for myself or something like that. I chuckled. I was like,
Funny.
okay. Continue to try to move. He continues to parallel us on foot in the parking lot. Well, I get stuck behind Ethel in her 2003
Grand Marquis.
Mercury Grand Marquis that she can't pull into the fucking parking spot and get out of the way.
Making a 12-point turn.
Now he's closer. And again, makes a comment too. He's gonna take our car, is what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't go great for him. Next thing you know, he's looking down the barrel of 2 guns from the car. And I don't remember the exact words I said to him.
This was
I
years ago.
may have alluded to his death or something along those lines.
This is like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. So he changed his attitude. It was enough to change his behavior.
He walked away.
He walked away. So we called the local sheriff's office, Sarasota. They get into the area, end up finding him.
He was sitting over by a Walgreens, just sitting on the ground. Like, he didn't go anywhere.
No, yeah, he didn't really go anywhere at all. But he had already been wanted. He stole a prescription pad and was trying to pass bad scripts. He beat his girlfriend in the hospital.
He had broken into a VA hospital, beaten the fuck out of his girlfriend, stolen a prescription pad.
Yeah. He was a nice guy.
And warrants had been filed, I think, that day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like it was still ongoing.
Like it was just recently. So yeah.
Damn, we got paid overtime to be on vacation because we assisted in a felony apprehension. So it worked out well.
Yeah, it was cool.
It worked out well.
Because we sat there and watched it the whole time because we're creeps and we wanted to see how it turned out.
Eating egg rolls, mind you.
Yeah, we're eating Chinese food, sitting in the car, like watching the free show there. So
that's another big topic. If you don't have a CCW permit, go get one.
Yeah.
If you're an officer in the state of Ohio, carry your gun.
Yeah.
When you can, obviously. We do have laws and restrictions and stuff around it, so be mindful of that. But
yeah,
do it. Do it.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No. God bless the Brevard County Sheriff.
Yeah, he's awesome.
For the support that he showed
Shout
his
out to
guys
him.
and the media.
Yeah.
Because it's a good way to get eaten alive and scrutinized. And he said, nope, I'm going to nip that in the ass right before you even try to make a comment about it. Guy was a piece of shit. He tried to kill my guys, so we killed him even more. So I like it.
What's the quote?
Evil cannot be dead enough.
I like it. I put it in my phone.
It's a true
I try to
statement.
save all the good quotes I hear.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good spot to end it.
I agree.
We need to go make dinner. So
Thanks for tuning in and joining us. All
Let's-
2.8 million of you is what we're at now.
Oh yeah.
So we're
Is that
really
where we're
doing.
at?
Yeah. Should
Mm.
they don't know. Don't tell them.
Do you know we have allegedly, according to our analytics, a listener from Germany
Yuck.
and
Yeah.
the United Kingdom
Oh, we got UK in there too. I didn't know we had the UK in there.
recently.
Well,
So I don't know if they
converse with us,
I don't-
guys.
I
If you're
don't-
out there and you're listening,
I don't know if they accidentally hit play and
then
it
they
just
listened and
counted,
they were like, no, get off of my phone.
or if they actually listened. I'm not sure how that happened. So if you are from the UK or Germany and you are listening, I would love to hear from you. So I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
forgot to plug
let's
us.
converse.
Did I plug us?
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Did,
no,
did I
you
drink
did.
too much wine? I've only had one glass. Oh my god. I
She's a
didn't-
cheap date, guys. That's
I
why
am a
we're
cheap
still
date.
going
All right.
strong
Well,
here.
if you're still listening,
Thank
on
you. And there
Twitter-
are a few of you that I know listen because we get a little bit of feedback from you.
Yeah,
so
and
we greatly
appreciate-
appreciate you.
we
We
appreciate the
really do.
the feedback and letting us know how we're doing and if we sound
One
like
in particular.
shit.
He
One-
knows who he is.
He does know who he is because we love him and
And I always send him crazy shit on Facebook.
he's a smart man. He lets us know how we're doing.
We try to get him on here and he keeps going, no. You need to just come on here.
just suck it up. We'll
Just do it.
We'll give you a fake pseudonym. It doesn't have to be your name.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
care. I mean, I can
He's
edit
got
it out.
history in this business, so we
Right.
might as well.
Oh, he definitely knows who we're talking about. He definitely
yes,
knows.
he does. But thank you. I appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. I was just saying today how I received a text message from him about how he said Sarah was a hoot. And I was like, wow, I didn't know how people would react to the last
Mhm.
episode because the four of us together are a complete shit show. So I was
There's
glad
that.
I was glad someone enjoyed it and
There
found
you
it
go.
entertaining. So yeah. But anyways, if you're from the UK or Germany, would love to hear from you.
Would love to.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
we are at Knock and Talk Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Gmail, knockandtalkpod@gmail.com. Support us at Patreon, The Knock and Talk Show. If you would like to support our purchasing of ice buckets. What did you say that we needed to buy today? You said something stupid. Like we needed, what was it that we needed?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
A coat. Apparently we need to buy coasters because you're putting your cup on a patch of paper towels.
Well, it sweats a lot, so
Well,
I don't,
appreciate the sentiment of putting something so it doesn't sweat on the table, but apparently we need to buy fancy coasters now. So if you would like to support the show and buy us some coasters, I'm kidding. But if you would like to support the show, if you would like to support the show, go to www.com or www.com. Jesus, I'm not drunk, I swear. www.patreon.com/The Knock and Talk Show. What else are we on? You don't even post on Twitter. I don't even know why I keep saying this.
I need
you
to.
gotta like do something.
I fucking hate social media.
Just fucking do it.
All right.
Oh, and then we're on the U of the Tube.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to watch us on the YouTube. Oh yeah, that was really cool. I don't know if this video is gonna get edited. I'm gonna try.
We'll see what we can do.
I'm gonna try.
No guarantees.
I'm gonna try my hardest. So if you're listening to this and you know how to edit videos and
Hit
know
us
how to
up,
do
bruh.
it well, and you can instruct me on how to edit these. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm not trying to cut anything out of the videos. All I'm trying to do is add a cover page,
Yeah.
the intro music, which I already have saved, and I just like to add like our photo and like the episode number at the beginning. That's all I want to do. Nothing crazy.
it.
But
Basic.
I can't get it to upload to
We'll
YouTube
play
without
with it. And see
it
what happens.
it like giving me an error.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it. So if you know how to do those things, let me know because I'd appreciate it because I'm an idiot. It could be the wine. It's probably eating away at my brain. That's why I
It's-
can't think of any of the words that I want to think of. So I
It's-
don't know.
It's probably the one.
Probably the wine. So, all right. Well, I said about 5 minutes ago that we were going to end it there. So
We're
going
done.
to end it now.
We're out.
Do not mute me. So, yeah, that's it.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Stay safe.
You won't talk to me for the rest of the night. So this is the last time you'll talk to me.
Okay. Well, go to your room.
Okay, bye everyone.
See ya
Thanks.
later.